are. Hi, everybody. Welcome. How you guys doing? Hello. Happy Monday. It's just one of those days that just gets more interesting as the moments pass by in a positive sense. So much nuttiness. I hope today, of all days, you can find something to revel in, something to rally around. I know I will. Hi. What's happening, Captain Cheeto? There's just so much. Come on. Yes, it's Motang Monday, and we couldn't be happier. This is
Michigan gave us Motang.
This is one of those days where I wish I had a audio drop of Trump saying infrastructure week, but in so many ways I am glad I don't, because it never became necessary. It never became valid. It never became newsworthy. It was always just kind of a low-res punchline around the Trump presidency. Thanks, Susan. Thank you. Welcome. Join in. Gather around, folks. It's nice to see you. How about it? All right. So right out of the gate, we're going to go through Biden's remarks on the, if you've already seen them, I'm sorry. I'm going to show, at least a portion of them. And then, and then we will compare those to what Steve Bannon has been saying, or said coming out of the FBI today when he surrendered. Oh boy. So good. Just so can I, on so many fronts, and I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Nope. All right. Okay. We'll make it. We're okay. It's a live stream, kids. Anything could happen. Coughs, sneezes, they happen. They occur. It's not that weird. But let's jump in and watch that. Yes, very excited about this. On a personal note, just come on now. Come on, infrastructure bill, the BFD. Yeah. So he's being introduced in this.
President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Oh, good stuff. I almost wish there was like a Trump hype man there going, yeah, right. Just like yelling, like heckling during it. But just every 10 sentences, just annoying, never asked to leave. No, that was not cinema. She spoke earlier. Never bothered, nothing about it. And then like they just have to watch in horror as he signs the bill. Right? It's kind of like the trolls when they join us here. You know what I mean? I wish there was the trolls got to sit there like in a soundproof booth. That would be so fucking awesome. They should have brought a bunch of Republicans over and just put them in this and yelling like Zod in that spinning triangle as he goes through space and they can't hear it.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you, Heather. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Heather, you're surprised you're standing here. Jill was very surprised I'm standing here. Well, Heather, thank you for the introduction. And I can't look over here because the sun's shining in my eyes, but all this other crowd over here, thank you for all you've done. Look, thanks for sharing this day with us. Why this day matters to you and your fellow iron workers and your families, and you explained it well. For all the folks at home, I know this day matters to you as well.
Yeah, it does. As a comic who does a lot of traveling and spends a lot of time on the road in rental cars of varying quality, crossing bridges of questionable safety, flying into airports of questionable hygiene, I would like to say for the record that it would be nice to know that no matter where I land in the United States of America, I would be able to drink tap water without suffering brain damage.
I know you're tired of the bickering in Washington, frustrated by the negativity, and you just want us to use and focus on your needs, your concerns, and the conversations that are taking place at your kitchen table. Conversation as profound as they are ordinary. How do I find work? How do I get there? How can our small business thrive and our child succeed in school? Or how do we emerge from this pandemic, not just with a little bit of breathing room, but with real fighting chance to get ahead? Mm-hmm. When we ran for president, to help, I thought maybe I could help answer some of those questions for you and the needs you have. Because every time I'd ride home on Amtrak, I'd go through just north of just south of Baltimore. I'd look out, go through a suburban neighborhood. I'd look in all those lights are on in the windows. And I'd look and I wonder, what are they talking about? I'm serious. Swear to God. What are they talking about sitting at that table? What are they talking about? Talking about the things that I talked about at our kitchen table, Jill at hers, and all of you as well. And that's about how can we come together to be president for all Americans, to make sure our democracy delivers for you, for all of you.
Audio's low.
I promised that we couldn't just build back to what it was before. We literally had to build back better. You couldn't build back. We're the only country that's always come out of great crises stronger than we went in. The world has changed, and we have to be ready. My fellow Americans today, I want you to know we hear you and we see you. The bill I'm about to sign along is proof that despite the cynics, Democrats and Republicans can come together and deliver results. We can do this. We can deliver real results for real people. We see in ways that really matter.
See, I think saying deliver real things for real people, that's to slam the entire Trump family that way. I'm kidding.
Each and every day to each person out there. And we're taking a monumental step forward to build back better as a nation. I want to thank everyone who helped make this happen. Vice President Harris, my cabinet members, my White House team.
Hal Sparks. I mean, I played my little part. I kept everybody from panicking. I think I helped.
Jill, Doug, our first lady, and our first lady and our second husband. No, I'm joking. These guys travel all over the country together. I'm getting worried, you know.
That's funny. That's funny.
Doug's one hell of a lawyer besides.
There's a divorce joke. Look at that. That's funny.
Everybody from the United States Senate, Majority Leader Schumer, and a group of Senate Democrats and Republicans have established this bipartisan framework, including representatives and all the folks you heard from. Senator Rob Portman is a really hell of a good guy. I'm not hurting you, Rob, because I know you're not running again. That's the only reason I say it. But you are a hell of a good guy. And the most determined woman I know, Senator Kristen Sinema. Congratulations, Kristen. Look, Committee Chair Tom Carper, Ranking Member Shelley Moore Capito. I also want to thank Minority Leader Mitch McConnell for voting for this bill and talking about how useful and important it is.
By the way, hype train. I think today we should have a lot of hype trains on Twitch just because it's infrastructure. Trains are infrastructure. I will always believe that. Thank you. Remember, price of a cup of coffee. That's all I'm asking. Once a month. It's not a big deal.
House of Representatives, Speaker Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, Jim Clyburn, and Committee Chair Pete DeFazio. Democrats and Republicans, progressives and moderates, I'd like to pause and ask all the committee chairs and ranking members of the United States Senate and House who are here today, please stand. Will all of you stand? Come on.
Old school politics, baby. Stand and be recognized. And you're not going to, by the way, none of you are going to yuck my yum about enjoying this bipartisan infrastructure bill. Sorry.
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To state the obvious, none of this would have happened without all of you. I really mean it. And also to the governors. Where are the governors? Governors, stand up. Come on, I want you to stand up. Red states, blue states, you all contacted me. You all said you were for this. You all stepped up. and more than 375 mayors, Democrats and Republicans.
That's right. There's the rabble. That's the mayors. There they are.
From every state and District of Columbia wrote me asking to get this done. Got it, kid. And nearly 50 of whom are here today, including Republican Mayor Fontana.
Yes, I agree. I feel like we should all be eating ice cream now too. We did that on Victory Day, on the 20th as well. But yeah, this is definitely an ice cream social kind of a day.
Who from Fontana, California, Mayor Warren, who spoke earlier, and county and state and tribal leaders as well, civil rights leaders, faith leaders. This law was supported by business groups, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the National Association of Manufacturers, the Business Roundtable, representing 200 of the largest corporations in America, and other top business. I want to especially thank, and I'm sure you'll all, as we used to say in the Senate, I stand at point of personal privilege, I want to thank organized labor, who understands this about jobs. You all stood up. Jobs, 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 jobs. Special thanks to the AFL-CIO, the United Auto Workers, electrical workers, the IBW, the iron workers. It goes on, plumbers, pipe fitters, and the building trades, steel workers. Who would I leave out? Pardon me? And my wife is a member of the union, the NEA. I'm going to get in trouble. Machinists, so many more. Look, folks, for too long, we've talked about having the best economy in the world. We've talked about asserting American leadership around the world, the best and the safest roads, railroads, ports, airports. Here in Washington, we've heard countless speeches and promises, white papers from experts. But today, we're finally getting this done. Mm-hmm. So my message to the American people is this: America's moving again, and your life is going to change for the better. If you live in one of the 10 million homes, or you're a child who attends one of the 400,000 schools or child care centers that still has lead pipes in them, you face a clear and present danger to your child's health and your health now.
You noticed?
This law is going to start to replace 100% of the nation's lead pipes and service lines. So every American, every child can turn on the faucet and drink clean water. Tens of thousands of plumbers and pipe fitters are going to get work done in good-paying jobs. Folks, as we saw...
By the way, AOC's little tweet about that, I don't know if you saw my fact check. I won. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Remote working during the pandemic. Access to high-speed internet is essential, and access to water as essential as access to water and electricity. This law is going to make high-speed internet affordable and available everywhere in America, urban, suburban, rural, and create jobs laying down those broadband lines. Mm-hmm. No parent, no parent should have to sit in a parking lot at a fast food restaurant again, just so their child can use the internet to do their homework. That's over. And folks, if I visited your town, I'm sure you'd be able to tell me and where you hold your breath as you cross the particular bridge, where the most dangerous intersection in your town is. This law makes us the most significant investment in roads and bridges in the past 70 years. It makes the most significant investment in passenger rail in the past 50 years, and in public transit ever. So what that means is you're going to be safer, and you're going to get there faster, and we're going to have a whole hell of a lot less pollution.
Next time when Biden speaks, I should be in sunglasses. All right, I'll get some aviators just for that.
Bipartisan law will modernize our ports, our airports, our freight rail to make it easier for companies to get goods to market, reduce supply chain bottlenecks, as we're experiencing now, and lower cost for you and your family. The law also builds on our resilience so that the next storm, superstorm, drought, wildfire, hurricane can be dealt with. Last year alone, the United States, as a consequence of these kind of extreme weather events, lost $99 billion in the United States alone in damage. After Hurricane Ida, I see the distinguished governor from Louisiana's over there. I saw him stand up. I went down to see him. We went through and saw all the damage there. They had 179-mile-an-hour winds at top speed in Louisiana. Then I headed on up to New York. Chuck, we're up in your area, in the Queens, in New Jersey. More people died there than in the hurricane. More people died with the flooding. Record wildfires raged, and I went to Idaho and California and saw it. More land is burned to the ground than the entire state of New Jersey out west. Folks, walk the neighborhoods and look the people in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
These circumstances,
Thanks, JMC.
many of you have. And you'll see the despair and the heartache. So many of you understand. You're living through it. This law builds back our bridges, our water systems, our power lines, our levees, better and stronger. So few Americans be flooded out of their homes or lose power for days and weeks as a consequence of the storms that hit. Folks, this bipartisan law, first time ever, creates a true national network of charging stations for electric vehicles, 500,000 of them, so you can charge your car here and drive all the way to California, not worrying about having to find places to charge, creating thousands of jobs.
Right.
Thousands.
By the way, because currently the technology is that you have to wait a little longer, you can't fill up as fast as you can in a tank, there are more ancillary jobs that will be created because of these charging stations in terms of restaurants, scenic stops. They're going to be a way that places will attract vehicles. Is you can charge up here and see the Grand Canyon, that kind of stuff, and watch for more of that kind of thing. You guys know what a whimpering crybaby I am when I watch the movie Cars, because my kid loved it so much when he was little. That kind of town you would stop in, fill up, or get your tires changed when they were, when you wore tires out. Just driving across the country, you'd have to change your tires sometimes. That in having places like that, people would stay overnight or they would do stuff. That expansion comes with charging up. Now that technology is going to speed up over the next 10 years to where it will be like cartridges that you trade, but that infrastructure will still be there. So yeah, the return of Route 66. Yeah, in some ways, because you'll know that you can charge up and you go, we'll charge up at that place where we can all, try the taffy or see the giant ball of string. Gotta go, but you need to meet always, Amy. But thank you for the offer. I will find my way out there eventually.
Also going to make it possible for Americans to get off the sidelines and into the game of manufacturing solar panels, wind turbines, batteries to store energy and power for electric vehicles, including electric school buses, which will mean millions of children will no longer inhale the dangerous diesel fumes that come out of the buses. For real, it's a big deal. And it'll reward companies for paying good wages.
Joe, it's cool. It's a big fucking deal. It's a big fucking deal. I'm just going to say it.
And for buying Americans sourcing their products here in America right now. It's going to help the United States export clean energy technologies to the world, creating tens of thousands of more jobs. There's so much more in the law, but most of all, it does something truly historic. I ran for president believing it was time to rebuild the backbone of this nation, which I characterize as working people in the middle class. They're the ones who built the country.
That's
and
right.
to rebuild the economy from the bottom up and the middle out. This law delivers on that long overdue promise, in my view. It creates better jobs for millions of Americans. And no one earning less than $400,000 a year will pay a single penny in federal taxes because of it. And it does not include, as we did the bipartisan infrastructure bill, it does not include a single penny in gas tax, which I rejected because people under $400,000 would be paying it. This law is a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America. It leaves no one behind, and it marks an inflection point that we face as a nation. For most of the 20th century, we led the world by significant margin because we invested in ourselves. But somewhere along the way, we stopped.
Sorry, Michael from Australia. Sorry, I missed you last weekend. Losing myself with compassion, strong, determined women to work with. My gorgeous mother feels like a bad dream. Only that I know I've missed 8 days. I've been in long sleep. Still a dream. Please let me wake up in the 8th of November. It's been a nightmare. Michael, on behalf of everybody in the chat, And myself personally, I'm so sorry. You're a world away, but I know what you're feeling. And there are many amongst us that do too. And we're all. It's funny trying to use common words for an uncommon feeling. Because everybody's experience of it and the weight of it will feel differently as they go through it. So we try to put a placeholder there in the form of a certain word to let people know that we understand their hurt. And in some ways, it's incommunicable. So I hope you see that. I hope you feel that from us. And thanks for spending your time with us, because like I said, we've lost other people in the chat who spent time with us, and it makes me even more committed to making the time you guys spend with us more full of life and joy. So I'll try and make you laugh today as best I can. Because that's I think of comedy as long distance hugs. It's what I do. So, yeah. We're all very, yeah. Michael, one of our people from, one of our viewers from Australia, I'm telling the rest of the chat, you guys can scroll back and look. But, yeah. I'm just going to pick up and keep going and keep you smiling. It's my place in the world.
Investing in ourselves. We risk losing our edge as a nation, and China and the rest of the world are catching up. Our infrastructure used to be rated the best in the world. Now, according to the World Economic Forum, we rank 13th in the world. Well, that's about.
Yeah, except they include Chinese infrastructure, which sucks. I love the country and I love the people, but I was there. It's very shiny, but it sucks.
To change. Things are going to turn around in a big way.
Mm-hmm.
For example, because of this law, next year will be the first year in 20 years American infrastructure investment will grow faster than China's. We'll once again have the best roads, bridges, ports, and airports over the next decade. And we'll lead the world into the 21st century with modern cars and trucks and transit systems.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do this by building again and moving again. Folks, too often in Washington, the reason we didn't get things done is because we insist on getting everything we want, everything.
Mm-hmm.
With this law, we focus on getting things done. I ran for president because the only way to move this country forward, in my view, is through compromise and consensus. That's how the system works.
Right.
That's American democracy.
That's right.
And I'm going to be signing a law that is truly consequential because we were made our democracy delivered for the American people. We compromised, reached a consensus. That's necessary.
That's
now
right.
Our focus moves to implementing infrastructure law that's going to speed and with discipline. I have a lot of experience in doing that. When I was vice president, I was given responsibility for overseeing and implementing the Recovery Act, nearly $900 billion emergency package. I'm proud to say that when we finished implementing that Recovery Act, determined that there had been less than 0.2% waste, fraud, or abuse. And it was how I learned and earned the nickname Sheriff Joe from President Obama. Because I made it a point every single day for well over a year to stay on top of how the money was being used. I spoke with over 160 mayors, 2-3 times sometimes. And I spoke with county executives and every governor save one. I won't mention that. And save one. She could see Alaska from reports. But monitor.
He just took a second to flick Palin in the back of the head. Just walked by her chair and went.
What we're doing is that was just how it was being done. And it was one of the most efficient implementations of a major program in American history. And now we owe it to the American people to do the same thing again. And to make sure every penny is spent where it's supposed to go in a timely fashion, I've asked the former mayor of New Orleans and former lieutenant governor of Louisiana, Mitch Landrieu, to oversee this responsibility. He'll have full access.
Hold on one second. Carmelo, we don't use that kind of language in here. Nope.
Every tool the federal government has to get it done. And we have the high obligation and responsibility to make sure this money is used wisely and used well. Folks, I've been looking forward to this day for a long time, like all of my colleagues here have. Tomorrow, I'll be traveling to New Hampshire to visit a bridge that is structurally not safe, like thousands of bridges across America. That's what this law is all about, keeping communities safer and more efficient. On Wednesday, I'll be in Detroit to meet with the UAW workers who are building the next generation of electric vehicles. And that's just the beginning. We're also seeing you'll be seeing me and Vice President Harris, Jill and Doug, cabinet officials, hitting the road to help you understand how this is going to.
We'll get to Bannon in a moment. Folks, this is almost done. And we'll get to it. Yeah.
Transform your lives for the better. And folks, when you see those projects starting in your hometowns, I want you to feel what I feel. Pride in what we can do together as the United States of America. Folks, you know, the same goes for my plan to build back better for the people, getting folks back to work and reducing cost of things like child care, elder care, housing, health care, prescription drugs, and meeting the moment on climate change. I'm confident that the House will pass this bill, and then we're going to have to pass it in the Senate. And that's fully paid for. It will reduce the deficit over long term, according to leading economists in the world. And again, no one earning less than $400,000 will pay a single penny more in federal taxes. Together with the infrastructure bill, millions of lives will be changed for the better. Folks, let me close with this. Throughout our history, we've emerged from crises by investing in ourselves. During and after the Civil War has been referenced, we built the Transcontinental Railroad, uniting East and West and uniting America. During the Cold War, we built the interstate highway system.
Which is, by the way, why I believe this should have been called the Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment Act.
Transforming how America lived their lives. And now we're emerging from COVID-19 pandemic, and we'll build an economy for the 21st century. When I met with President of China, who I'm going to be speaking with tonight, several years ago, he asked me, we were in China, he said, could I define America? And I said, absolutely. It's the God's truth. I said, absolutely. I can define it in one word. Possibilities. Possibilities. There is no limit to what our people think we can do. And there is no limit to what our nation can do. And there is no one thing that I know more than this. It's never, ever been a good bet to bet against the American people. Never, never, never. Given half a chance, the American people have never, ever, ever let this nation down. And it's our job to give our people that chance. It's our job to come together and make sure we remain a nation of possibilities. As I look out in this crowd today, I see Democrats and Republicans, national leaders, local leaders, all elected officials, labor leaders, business leaders, and most of all, I see fellow Americans. I see America. Let's remember this day. Let's remember we can come together. Most of all, let's remember what we've got done for the American people when we do come together. I truly believe that 50 years from now, historians are going to look back at this moment and say, that's the moment America began to win the competition of the 21st century. So with confidence, optimism, with vision and faith in each other, let's believe in possibilities. Let's believe in one another. And let's believe in America. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Now let me sign this bipartisan bill.
By the way, right now, Glenn Beck and his writers are trying to figure out a way to turn possibilities into a word translated from Russian that Marx used to actually mean the opposite of possibilities.
There you go. Yes, sir.
There they go. he forgot his mask, and then he forgets his mask, and then he goes back and he gets it, and it's they lost it. So he comes back, and then he signs it, and then it's all done. They go here, there. They hand him the pen.
Everybody gets one.
Oh yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Guys, back up. He's the president. Give him some space. They're all clamored in, and it's chilly there right now. Look at her. She's freezing. By the way, just friggin' awesome. Just awesome. Yeah, no, he wasn't chucking Sharpies over his shoulder. All that kind of stuff. Like, absolutely the genuine business of government functioning. Yep. Yeah, no, it's great stuff. And there will be Republicans and maggots and Trumpsters all across this country that will drive begrudgingly across bridges that don't collapse and down roads that don't ruin their tires, and they will, without irony, use high-speed internet to shit on Joe Biden that they never had before. In a year, guaranteed, by this time next year, maybe a month before, 11 months from now, there will be somebody using brand new high-speed internet that they got because of this bill to call Joe Biden a communist. So, which I count on it. I'm just saying, fucking count on it, right? Yeah, it's great. It's a great thing. Yeah, they'll complain about the roads. You know what the problem is? These roads are too smooth. These are like commie roads. Yeah, everybody's up there. Like, this is an across-the-board win. Yeah, damn commie bridges. Look at it. They probably gave out some sort of endowment for the arts for the design. What happened to good old-fashioned crisscross arms? What's all this beautiful arcs and comforting design that's functional? I hear the surface of this bridge has got solar panels on it that can track your sperm count. Yeah, they're going to have a real problem with the union jobs, especially when, and a lot of you guys were, we were talking about this. Everybody was, the jobs that are going to come from this, I mentioned a lot where the talking points just die on the vine. You know what I mean? Where they just, like, they have some talking point, whatever the new Republican talking point is, and it just eats shit in a matter of weeks because the 666 super chat time. Yay, we got 666 people in the YouTube chat, so please feel free to help us out with a $6.66 chat super chat, which is great. Also, if you can, it's less than the price of a cup of coffee, depending on where you get your coffee, I suppose. You can become a Twitch subscriber, twitch.tv/AlSparks, and of course, it's free to become a subscriber on YouTube. I'm just saying, so you can hit that button as well. And by the way, you can also like or dislike, and anything you write that isn't, an act of, bigotry or abject idiocy can stay in the chat. And it just lets the world know that this is an engaging show. So let me know in the comments below that you like the show and you passed it on or what have you. Yeah, and smash the like button and all that stuff. Right. And if you're on Facebook, stars are a great way to help the show. There you go. So this, it's amazing right now to me that we're all like, dear God, functioning government. Who could believe it was ever possible? But yeah, it is seriously, this calls for a celebration hiding for me. All right, there you go. Oh, sparklers are well above average. Oh, thank you so much, Robert, for the Venmo. I appreciate that. I got my watch fixed, so So I had to get it replaced. I have a new Apple Watch, even though it's on the same payment plan that my other watch was on. Where because half of the screen on my other one stopped working, and I was like, I couldn't. You have to punch in a code when you put it on so that nobody else can steal your life. And I was like, I couldn't enter the 0 in my old code, like anything on the bottom. Oh, Regina, thank you so much. Buy that building. Yes, I will. We're saving up for 666 Fifth Avenue. So if you can give us $6.66, all we need are 1 billion people to do that, and we're set. Like, that's my goal. Get the show worldwide so that one super chat from each of the viewers, when we're good, we'll build a 666 Fifth Avenue on the moon. My dad loves your radio show. He needs. Thank you so much. A daily dose of your anxiety-reducing take on current events. Since my brother directed me to your stream on January 6th, my pessimism and anxiety over politics no longer weighs me down. Best therapy ever. What a bargain. Thank you, Auntie Sarah. I appreciate that. That's what I try to do. And by the way, I wouldn't do it by bullshitting you. I wouldn't do it if I thought there was an acute threat you had to deal with in those situations. And when there have been those, we've addressed them. But the vast majority of these things is, I believe, is always maintain an emotional and philosophical balance about things. And since everybody's skewing the other direction, I'm going to tell you the truth, which is going to level out your emotions and make you it's going to make you more functional. Because here's the thing that I am inspired by every day in my chat room, the people that are here, is that if I can give you a sense of perspective, let you know that the sky is not falling, and that you play a valuable part in the solution, that someday, one of these days, one of you guys might have that, no pun intended, spark of genius, that moment where you go, oh, wait a minute, maybe we should try this. And this idea comes out of, the idea of whatever the solution is, be it an energy or a political or philosophical or, justice related thing. And it might occur to you, and it hadn't occurred to anybody else because they're not you. You have an original thought that in you. And if you put the same stuff in that everybody puts in all the time, you're going to get the same solution. Everybody wants to punch the tiger right now in the face because they think that's how you're supposed to handle it. And I honestly believe that if I can give you some perspective, it might let off that pressure, and then your own creativity, your own originality, your uniqueness as a human being will come forward. And then on the grand scheme, it might be great. On an interpersonal level, it might be. You might just be the person who's got a ready smile when everybody else is panicking. And that in and of itself can be a medicinal balm on people's souls. So there you go. It's good to hear it. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Daryl. Robert says, this makes me proud to be a citizen of the U.S. again. Absolutely. I do encourage critical thinking. Absolutely. And I do not encourage, like nuzzling on confirmation bias just to make yourself feel good. I don't believe in comfort food, in terms of political philosophy. It's not healthy. So I'm just going to be here to make you smile and teach you some stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Deirdre. Even old soul hippies love you. Well, I feel like I've got a special appeal to them, especially these days, my dear, if I do say so my damn self. Because I swear to God, my hair grew an extra 3 inches in an evening. This is like this right here. When did this happen? Like, this seems like maybe it was just because it was all curlier. Maybe that's it. I just, like, when I washed it the other day, I just had it down and I just let it dangle, and now it's straightened out a little bit. It's a good time. Go hippies, right? It's the liberal meltdown show. Well, that's what I try to fix. Straighten it, see how long it is. Okay, I'll do it. I'll borrow Summer's straightener and see if I'll see how Steve Perry I can get. It's almost mermaid level, right? So I can cover my nipples. You mean? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, of course I'm sharing hair tips. Why wouldn't I? All right. So meanwhile, at the other end of the misery spectrum, it's the Schadenfreude show. We're here to show you the Schadenfreude show with Sparks today. It's the Schadenfreude show. Sorry, this is just so stupid. When did the city come out? Okay, here, somebody else coming out. And then, oh, here we go. Back up. And then they wander out. Down. I don't know how to break it to these guys, but literally no one. Yeah, sorry, it was loud. I beg your pardon. Literally no one needs. Oh yeah, because the audio on the other thing was. Where are we? Right here. Yeah, literally no one needs a new picture of Steve Bannon. Seriously, no one. I mean, if I was Steve Bannon, I would insist on just use the oldest picture you can find.
Right here. Where's David? Right here.
Where's my lawyer?
Listen, ordinarily we don't like to comment on the case, but I have to.
Ordinarily we don't want to comment on the case, but we have figured out after Trump that bravado and bullshit are our only recourse.
Obligation to respond to something that Attorney General Garland.
Dear God, he's hired a leprechaun.
Attorney General Garland wrote, he's promised Justice Department employees would show the American people by word and deed Justice Department adheres to the rule of law, follows the facts in the law, and pursues equal justice under the law.
Jesus, what a horrifying statement. We truly do live under the CCP.
From here, you can take off your masks.
Yes, we're outdoors.
Okay.
It's a free country.
It's a free country. You know what, dude? It's significantly less free for some folks. There's buildings, actually, where they keep those folks. Just for the record.
There's nothing about this case that reflects a pursuit of the equal justice under the law. This thing was a scam from the beginning. The committee...
Well, then show up and talk. What the fuck's the matter with you? If it's a congressional committee. Show up and talk. Say everything. If it's a scam, why hold back? It's not a criminal trial in that regard. I mean, you got a criminal trial now because you showed yourself to be in contempt of Congress. You didn't have to be. Right? Fucking show up. Show them what time it is, Bannon. Come on, man. Sit down there and tell them the truth. You're like, yeah, absolutely. Rudy loaned me a stack of dead people that voted. I'm gonna read off. This fella voted and he was dead. And here's his birth and death certificate. He no longer exists. Never mind the fact that on his Facebook page he's always wearing a MAGA hat. That doesn't matter. It was a Biden vote. Okay, we're gonna assume he was a Biden vote. This next dead person to vote. Just sit there and read those. What the fuck's wrong with you? What's the problem? Again, this is not a criminal trial. You can fight, or a civil trial, and that's going after your personal finances or some shit like that. Knock yourself out. Say, I don't think they should have the right to look at my stuff. It worked really well for Alex Jones. Do what he did. But it's a congressional committee. You chicken shit. Look, he's looking right at us. He knows it. He knows he's hired a leprechaun. He knows someone picked his pocket and put it right back.
The committee that was convened here was convened exclusively of people who have made prejudgments and announced them publicly.
So fucking what? What does that have to do with the quality of your opening statement and your response to the questions? Does anybody here think that I, as an individual, where I called in front of a committee of Republicans accusing me of something I did not do and making spurious accusations against me, that I would not show up and give them a piece of my mind. Anybody. I'm dead serious. Like if it was all Jim Jordans in a row. You think I wouldn't show the fuck up? Are you kidding? Who would pass up an opportunity like that if it was that big a scam? If it was really an egregious overreach? Because even in front of the committee, they can't reference him for, unless he knows, quite frankly, that if they get his communications for the committee, he will be in danger of incriminating himself, and he can't make the fifth argument right now, because then it'll be abundantly clear that that's exactly what he's doing, and that he knows they also already have communications from some of the other people. But there is no fucking reason why I wouldn't show up in this situation. The reason he won't is because he's guilty.
Of the committee sued President Trump personally, and before he was even appointed to his position, determined and put in writing that President Trump was responsible for the events of January 6th. This is not an investigative committee. There's nothing for him to investigate when he's made a prejudgment. We have other members.
Well, if Steve didn't do anything wrong, and his material communications and his testimony will prove that, let him sit down in front of under oath and show the world what a scam the whole thing is.
The committee who announced their prejudgments well in advance. It's not equal justice under the law, Mr. Garland, to charge a matter like this criminally. The holder of...
Sure it is. Well, it's going to get equal. I mean, the only reason it hasn't been equal is because we haven't been charging people who've been dodging subpoenas when we fucking well should.
Privilege in this case, executive privilege, invoke the privilege.
No. Dude didn't work in the White House for 3 fucking years before January 6th. It's not executive privilege. The president can't just yammer with members of the public and foment an insurrection when he lost and claim that anybody he pulls into his criminal enterprise is all of a sudden a cabinet member. There's a reason why they have to go through confirmation,
Bannon is a layperson. When the privilege has been invoked...
Ew, don't say lay and Bannon in the same sentence. And he's by no means a layperson. He's a political manipulator. By the way, if I were your lawyer, Steve, I would argue to get you put in and remanded without bail just to save you from all the maggots you stole $25 million for your fake build the wall nonsense.
By the purported holder of privilege, he has no choice but to withhold the documents. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. Mr. Bannon acted as his lawyer counseled him to do.
Real quick, when the genie came out of the bottle, which of the 3 wishes did Trump wish to be made president again magically, even though he lost? It obviously wasn't the first one, and he didn't get that one, so apparently it still looks like a toadstool.
Appearing and by not turning over documents in this case. He didn't refuse to comply. He made quite clear that if a court ordered him to comply, he would do that. But he had an obligation to honor the privilege that was invoked. And in turn...
No, he didn't. You got a subpoena. That's it. Goodbye.
Prosecuting this criminally, it violates settled Department of Justice policy that's
settled policy. It's just one of my favorite, try that. Settled. It's a settled policy. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's settled policy.
On the executive branch. It is outrageous that a criminal charge was brought.
There it is. Outrageous. Right there. There we go. The admission of guilt. Game, set, match. That's it. Anytime somebody are like, these outrageous, outrageous. It's outrageous that these, but it's an outrage. It's outrageous. Anytime somebody drops outrageous, it's an admission of guilt. Just understand that. It is rejecting, it is saying that you daring to ask or request or seek the truth from me is an outrage, right? What'd I tell you? And like fucking clockwork.
This case, it is a misdemeanor, but it's being treated as if it were a capital case. Mr.
No, it is not. He's not facing a firing squad, dumb fuck. A capital case. You mean a felony, dipshit? Capital case. Yeah, I haven't checked the QAnon boards. Steve, has your clone been hung at Gitmo yet? How does that work out?
Takes this very seriously. It's outrageous what the government did. The principles of equal justice under law that Mr. Attorney General Garland speaks.
Innocent until proven guilty. Remember how? Oh, I'm not. He avoided the subpoena. He was indicted and he turned himself in because he did not show up for the subpoena. This is not a matter of innocent until proven guilty. The executive privilege doesn't stand. The administration has already said it. This is a disagreement about stuff. I'm disagreeing with it. Good luck. Now, his part in January 6th, that's the innocent until proven guilty part. And if he was innocent, he could race down there and go, my life is an open book. Fuck you guys. Here you go. Here's a bunch of text going, whatever you do, don't be violent when you get up there. And also, I haven't talked to Trump in days, and he feels the same way even though we haven't talked. Get out of here.
Are vitally important to all of us. And we all lose as Americans when they're selectively used and when we violate that principle. You see the...
Yes, when they selectively use it. Yes, this is one of the times when they have used it, they're selecting not to use it in others. I would say that that is the area where America is harmed the most. If you have a subpoena to go talk to this committee, go fucking talk to the committee. If you want to talk to them behind closed doors, they'll let you. You don't have to be on camera. There's so much leeway in this bullshit. So the whinging is what's annoying.
Signs right here and the guys over here saying insurrection and all that. That's what this country's about. It's freedom of speech. They got their opinions. We have our opinions. Okay? Hang on. They have their opinions. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be the misdemeanor from hell for Merrick Garland, Nancy Pelosi, and Joe.
Yeah, that's a great turn of phrase. Man, the misdemeanor from hell. Will it be on the laptop from hell? Perhaps the barber from hell could tell us.
Joe Biden ordered Merrick Garland to prosecute me from the White House lawn when he got off Marine.
That's weird. Why didn't he do it then?
And we're going to go on the offense.
Well, he couldn't until you broke the law, though. Like Biden gets off let me play the scene for you. Biden steps off. Merrick Garland is waiting there for him, clearly with a bag of donuts, and he's like, and an ice cream cone. And he goes, Mr. President, he goes, I want you to prosecute Steve Bannon. Well, I can't unless he breaks the law. Good point. All right. Well, if he breaks the law, prosecute him, but within the confines of the law. And only if he actually breaks the law. He hasn't broken the law yet. Okay. Well, you let me know if he does. If he doesn't, I guess my whole plan falls apart. That's right, Mr. President. This is going to be the misdemeanor from hell.
They're playing defense. We're going to go on the offense on this and stand by. By the way, you should understand.
Yeah, blah. Right.
Nancy Pelosi is taking on Donald Trump and Steve Bannon. She ought to ask Hillary Clinton how that turned out from them, okay? We're going on.
Well, she was supposed to get locked up or something, right? Because I don't remember, and maybe I missed it. Maybe it was as quick as this happened. Did Hillary turn herself in to the FBI to be locked up, or at any point during the time? No? Did she get a pardon magically from Obama or something at the end, and then commit another crime like days later that actually screwed her out of the... No? Huh. Weird.
Offense.
We're going on offense. Dude, anybody downwind of you knows that.
Stand by.
Jail time for not providing these documents.
Stand by. Yeah. You hear that, Boogaloo boys? You hear that, Proud Boys? He's calling you up. Come on, shock troops. Cover his ass. Yes, throw yourself on the pyre of insurrection. Ruin your life you know, throw your, like, charge the Capitol to save Steve Bannon, a man who fucked a bunch of your fellow maggots out of $25 million. The guy who, like, armchair generals this bullshit from the Willard, eating fucking shrimp cocktails while you've been told to go beat up cops. And then Judge Jeanine Pirro pays for the fucking room.
You should be outraged if he ever faced that possibility as an American. There is nothing criminal about any conduct.
Why? Why would I be outraged? Why should I not be outraged that this dude got a subpoena for the committee hearing about the worst attack on our Capitol since 1812?
That occurred in this case, and when we respond to Merrick Garland, we say apply the law equally. They don't have who else.
Yes, I agree. Arrest Mark Meadows, like all these fuckers, everybody who was on that list, the 10 that just came out. And by the way, Judge Jeanine, this means you, because you paid for those rooms at the Willard. They called you up, somebody else was stiffing them on the bill, and you paid for them. What the fuck is that?
Prosecute for invoking executive privilege in a criminal prosecution. Read the Department of Justice Office of Legal Counsel letters. It's unconstitutional according to their own opinions from some real luminaries, including, by the way, read the Office of Legal Counsel opinion by Eric Holder for the Obama administration, the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, but he was talking about people who are actually in the administration, not random fuckos who were coordinating an attack on the Capitol a block and a half away that wasn't supposed to be in contact with the president, but it was apparently, by the way, this is not about advise and consent. This is not about counsel. Remember the whole thing about executive privilege. If we have to the records of the conversations the president have, then what a chilling effect it will have on future presidents. Well, guess what, motherfucker? I happen to think it should have a chilling effect on any president who's lost an election planning to attack the goddamn Capitol. It should chill you to the bone. I don't want to have happen to me what happened to Trump and his clan. That's what should happen. You should go, goddamn, this is scary. And what if, if you're one of the cabinets or one of the extraneous assholes like Bannon is, you're going, if I get thrown under the bus like Trump did to Bannon ultimately, I'm done. Yeah, bloggers don't have executive privilege. Exactly.
This is unheard of, to force a person to violate the invocation of executive privilege.
No. It doesn't count. It didn't count with Nixon. It doesn't count in this situation. Ask the tape recorder that recorded Nixon how much privilege it got, and then get fucked.
I mean, the court, of course, hasn't ruled yet in President Trump's case, in Trump versus Thompson, on whether executive privilege applies. But even beyond that, the Office of Legal Counsel...
No, it doesn't.
...make clear that it applies to discussions with former government officials, and that makes sense. It makes sense because we often see former officials kept in the loop that the president needs to consult with. And
yeah, he needs to consult with them on how to attack the United States of America. But, dude, murder and treason accepted. This shit doesn't cover. If you were engaged in a fucking crime, you don't get to claim executive privilege to cover the crime at all. And if the people who are in charge of discerning whether or not that executive privilege stands, namely the following group of people who come in there, the administration, the Biden administration currently go, that's not covered under privilege. It's like the assertion is just goofy.
You happen to think President Trump...
Yes, former officials are... Yeah, what he means is... What he's trying to do is put Bannon on the same level as when presidents call former presidents who sat in the room with world leaders and said, what was this asshole like? And did we have a good deal, or was he really messing with us? That's what presidents talk to former presidents about this, and they want to keep that on the QT. That's totally fucking fine. But if both of them coordinated a way to, slip a Mickey to a world leader and then snuff him, none of that is covered. Nor should it be. Especially if this asshole was in charge of the shock troops, which he says he was, along with Alex Jones, to send people up there that intended harm on that day, and he knew it. Yeah, and it's one of the impeachment lawyers. They only know fucking 6 people.
talked about at the time. That's what executive privilege exists for, so that people can speak freely with the president, talk about strategy matters, and talk about national security and other important.
Yeah, but national security is the security of this nation, not Trumpistan, fucko.
Matters.
Mr. Bannon,
By the way, not just Trump
By the way, before my leprechaun continues,
people and not just conservatives. Every progressive and every liberal in this country that likes freedom of speech and liberty, okay, should be fighting for this case. That's why I'm here today. For everybody, I'm never going to back down.
yeah, that's who he's there for. Progressives, he's here for you. He's really not here for himself. He's here for you. Because freedom of speech should cover coordinated attacks on a democracy.
They took on the wrong guy this time, okay?
Well, honestly, if they just had I recommend if you take on Steve Bannon, perhaps a loofah on the end of a broomstick. All right.
On the wrong guys.
And then cite the privilege question by question. Why did you?
Because he was instructed by his attorney not to show up in Congress. A layperson has to follow his attorney's advice, in my view at least. When he's faced with a subpoena, he doesn't know anything about legal process. Otherwise, he relies.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything about legal process. He doesn't understand that when people vote for president, they want that person to be president. And if more people vote for one person, that person should actually be president. He doesn't know all this legal mumbo jumbo. Electoral college should reflect the actual will of the voters. And he said, that's a lot of la.
A lawyer, and the lawyer gave you the advice. And I must say, relies on the Office of Legal Counsel opinions, which very clearly say that he need not show up.
Did he get bad advice or what? I mean,
No, I don't think.
Yes, he did.
Executive privilege.
There's no other choice. Once the privilege is invoked, what would the choice be? Show up and testify. And by the way, they asked to have members, if he were to testify, to have those people invoking the privilege, a representative of the person invoking the privilege, present, just to be able to monitor it and make an objection if a privilege matter came up.
Oh, so Trump has to be there too. So if he's got to go sit in front of the committee, Trump has to sit there and go, whoa. I never even saw this asshole before. He smells like feet, but he used to get me coffee. I don't know who he is.
They refuse to allow that.
By the way, if the administrative state wants to take me on, bring it. Because we're here to fight this, and we're going to go on offense. And you stand by. You see how we're going to go on offense, okay?
Yeah, he's loving the standby thing because believe me, and Biden didn't invoke executive privilege. Trump wants it invoked. He has no right to do it. Oh, thanks so much. Thanks, Jay.
Nancy Pelosi, Merrick Garland, Joe Biden, the whole, all of them.
What do you mean?
Okay?
What do you mean?
Easy. He's allowed to pay you normally.
My offense is we're going to challenge this.
Sorry.
Affirmatively.
Thank you, James.
We're going to fight to defend his rights and to defend your rights also.
You're right.
Excuse me. Point of order. What about my right to party? Will it actually? Sorry.
Quite frankly, I represented the American Civil Liberties Union for more than 20 years and all the litigation they had in Alabama. This is an issue that the American Civil Liberties Union ought to be on our side with.
Okay, we got.
Yeah, they're not though, because it's a matter of invoking executive privilege within the administration. The current administration says no, the same way that happened after Nixon. Boring.
Let's bounce.
All right, we got to go. Thank you,
guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we got to go. We got to go. We have a lot of. We'd love to stay here and talk to you, but we got to sit in the lobby and wait for the limo.
January, you said that all more questions. Did you know that there was going to be violence
No more questions.
at the Capitol?
That's always a good sign when you leave your press conference and you walk away this way and you go, oh shit, the car's that way. That's one of those things where you lean over to someone while the other person is talking going, when we get out of here, which way is the car? Make sure we know which way the car is. You're going to tug me by my sleeve and you're going to take me over there. Dude, the dude right there he's got a tote bag that looks like he got with a subscription to Waypo, and his hoodie says support your local dive shop. And he's filming it on his phone. That is some citizen journalism right now. I'm just a little upset that his phone isn't in a waterproof case. Jail is for minority. Yeah, so anyways, that's the Macho is all get out. Let's see, they just follow him down the street, and then there's footage of them just kind of going, okay, there we go. And this, yeah, hold on. So there's, everybody's freaking out about this. There's so much, yeah, so this one, I don't know if, is this today? Yeah. Steve Bannon has not yet begun to fight. I have not yet begun to fight. Well, I will say that he looks way better. Oh, this is Captain Marine Bannon, War Room correspondent. And on the dole, is this daughter, wife, sister, wife? I don't know. I honestly, well, let's find out. But he has not yet begun to fight.
Captain Bannon.
He's not yet begun to pillow fight.
Before we get on to more of the stories that are coming out over at the National Pulse and at Human Events Daily, I want to make sure that
oh yeah, there's so much going on, and it's so exciting.
We get Captain Bannon's take on what we saw this morning. Let me ask you, I mean, how Steve
Captain Bannon
was it to go outside of the FBI field office and open this show from there this morning?
It was 100% him. He wasn't going to let the War Room posse down. He was going to make sure that we started the show off right, which is why he did that intro. And he had that smile when he was going in there. And yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, what's not to smile about? He's denying a subpoena because he's afraid to speak under oath. I mean, what I don't. There are a few prouder moments, I think, in someone's life.
I posted on my Twitter a quote that he and I discussed from one of his naval officer heroes, John Paul Jones, and it says, "I have not yet begun to fight," and we saw that this morning. He has not yet begun to fight, and they.
Well, he should probably start then, because right now he has not yet begun to fight. He has, however, been flailing and bitching a lot. So.
With the wrong person.
Listen, I couldn't agree. Okay, there are very few.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, in many ways, we've always, all of us around here believe Steve Bannon is the wrong person. Whatever the job is, whatever the circumstance, wrong guy.
In this town that I like to pick fights with less than Stephen K. Bannon. You do not want to get into a.
Yeah, you don't want to wrestle with him because you're going to come away with some sort of boil or skin infection, some sort of gnats. I don't know. Black mold. It's the only human being who actually carries around black mold as a pet.
A strategic contest with this man. Just unbelievable.
You don't want to get in a strategic contest with this man. Yeah, no.
Captain Bannon, your social media coordinates?
You can follow me on Instagram.
Coordinates. Your social media coordinates. Get fucked. It's called a handle.
At Real Maureen Bannon, and then on Twitter and Getter at Maureen_Bannon.
Fantastic work, and we'll talk to you later on as well, Captain.
Yeah, so good. So much of it has been fucking hell. All right, now I have to go look for this. Hold on. Getter. The marketplace of ideas. This is so funny. Log in. Do I have a? I don't think I have one of these things. Create an account. Let's see. Okay, give me 1 second. Let's see. All right. Now this is me signing up for, hold on. I'm signing up for Getter right now. Good times. Hold on. Where's mail on this stupid thing? There it is. New mail. Here we go. Sent me a code. Sorry. This is just ridiculous. There it is. All right. There you go. Who do we want to... Oh, God. Well, we've definitely got to follow Maria and Sean Hannity and Jason Miller. Ugh, God, this is gross. Sean Duffy. Let's see, next. There we go. Yeah. Now I gotta... Hold on. Let's see. Bannon. Let's see. And he live streamed it on there. So many of these people. Oh my God. Please go. Is this an article? Oh, okay. It's a video? No, just a video. It's just an article. Crap. This is so fun. Wait, look at Dinesh. Hold on. Look at Dinesh D'Souza's remarks in this circumstance. Hold on. Let's see if I can drag this over here. Whoops. Let's see, is this guy over here? There you go. Bannon is going for the jugular. Suck on this, newly indicted former Trump advisor Steve Bannon. Bannon is not afraid. It's hard to tell, though, until he molts his skin off. Okay, so stand with Bannon. Okay, Getter News. Here you go. This is the footage. Here we go.
Is this us? Hey, just want to say, tell everybody, it live stream on Getter right now. Everybody watching in the war room. We're here today. I don't want anybody to take their eye off the ball of what we do every day. Okay, we got the Hispanics coming on our side, African Americans coming on our side. We're taking down the Biden regime. Every day, the focus, you got Raheem Kassam today, you got Dr. Peter Navarro, Captain Bannon. You're going to have...
Everybody's covering for me while I'm possibly going to be in here. The upside is I think Steve Bannon is the only person that could ever go to prison where no one is going to worry about him dropping the soap, or indeed being anywhere near soap.
Epstein, the whole show, intense. We got polling out, economic data out, everything. I want you guys to stay focused, stay on message. Remember, signal, not noise. This is all noise, that's signal. Thank you very much.
Are you optimistic?
Are you optimistic about your chances? I don't know. Yeah, so these folks are fun. This is Getter. There's got to be a homepage. What is this? Suggested for me. No, thank you. Nothing to see. All right, sure. I haven't posted anything yet because I just made the account. So that's yeah. I'll post something later and we'll do it. But that's essentially the entirety. Let's see. And by the way, he's going for the jugular thing. Went straight to this thing on Conservative Brief. There you go. Defiant Steve Bannon says Republicans are taking over elections. Here, let me scroll this over here. It says says Republicans are taking over elections. Yeah, sure. Former Jones says dire warning to Democrats in his War Room podcast, blah, blah, blah. Why is this going for the jugular? Suck on this. 95% of the billets in Virginia were occupied of election officials and poll watchers, and that is the principal reason we secured the election in Youngkin. Okay. Billet is a lodging for a soldier, student, etc., as in a private home or non-military public building. We're taking over the elections, he says. Well, I don't doubt that you'll be captain of Cell Block 3. No doubt. Let's see. So this is, by the way, this is from the indictment, and I think we all just have to enjoy. Bannon turned himself in. He was not arrested, and then he posted bond and left. Yeah. So this is like I'm curious. This is a very short one from Greg Kelly. It's called DOJ harasses Bannon but won't seek out real answers about January 6th. Greg Kelly reports. It's got 23,000 views. Newsmax has 2 million subscribers. I'm just saying, like and subscribe. How am I ever going to compete if I don't buy subscribers like these folks do? Only because of you. 1,000 people in the chat's coming up. We're getting close. Share the show. That'll do it. That's how we do it. Day by day. I'm old Greg. I showed you my downstairs mix-up. It's old Greg. Sorry. Do you love me? Are you playing your love games with me? So, Greg Kelly, the most unloved man and the angriest man on the interwebs, defending Steve K. Bannon in the best way he knows how, which is from a distance. From a distance, Steve's smell is the way from us.
It's crazy. They politicized everything. Poor Steve Bannon. I actually like this guy, the former advisor to
I actually like this guy.
President Trump. He helped run the campaign for a while. He has been indicted by...
Wait, when did he run it? Was he running it when before or after Paul Manafort arranged for Russians to show up at the RNC and all that kind of stuff? Who was that? You'll have to remind us, Greg. Tell us the story about when Steve Bannon was running things and how well it was going.
Biden Justice Department. He refused to cooperate with that ridiculous January 6th committee, didn't answer the subpoena, and now it's
a crime to not actually do that.
Criminal indictment for not answering that subpoena. Look.
Well, that's weird. It's almost like we have a rule of law in the country and that people are expected to live up to it. It's so peculiar.
The fact that they're harassing this guy shows you that they
wouldn't have to if he just had answered their request to speak, or indeed honored the subpoena and come forward and said, I'm evoking executive privilege, for example. Right?
They don't care about what happened on January 6th. They just want to try to damage Trump. Steve Bannon.
How could they damage Trump? It's a witch hunt. No, but nothing happened, right? That's the whole thing, right? You got to know that. All he's got to do is walk in there and say, here's what really happened. Check out this little video I made on the day that totally exonerates me. It's that easy. How could you possibly go wrong?
Not on Capitol Hill on January 6th. They're trying to get him for the stuff he said.
He was not on Capitol Hill. That's the defense, Greg? He was not on Capitol Hill. Motherfucker, he was at the Willard with Roger Stone and Rudy Giuliani in rooms that Jeanine Pirro played for, coordinating with groups like the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys and all that. That's the whole point of this. Not on Capitol Hill. Yeah, he was in the zip code.
Podcast. Oh, what were you thinking on such and such a day? If they really wanted to find out what happened on January 6th and how to prevent it from happening again, they would be trying to find that little cop and ask, why were you actively waving people in through the gates? Who are you? Why did you do that? They'd also be trying to find this guy.
Well, yeah, if it is indeed a cop. Yeah, that would be an issue. Now, part of it was because, and Greg, I know this is a simple explanation in deference to you. When you have people in danger in the left side of a building, and you have to get the people in the left side of the building to safety, and you know that people are going to storm into the building, and once they enter the building, they can go right or they can go left. And you don't have enough people there to stop them from coming in, but you can direct them in a way. You have enough people to keep them going in one direction to avoid the people on the left side of the building so they can be taken to safety. So when they're coming in the front and they're starting to circle around and you have to get people out this way, you send them that way. So you wave them on purpose. Yeah, no, come on in. You guys can go this way. Yeah, over here. Right up the steps. Yeah, because they're fucking dumb. And people in the chat. We did it! What's happening? 1,000 people joining us in the chat today. Thank you so much for being here, honoring me with your presence. Imagine how it feels to just have people. That's how many people are in here talking. That's not even who's just watching. That's the people who are chit-chatting. So if I miss some of the conversation, I apologize. But I love you and thank you.
Others, by the way, he's not the only one, but there are some people.
A black guy. that's Greg. That's Greg like, hello, Black Lives Matter. There's clearly a black guy there. Why is he not being, what's happening?
That have not found their way onto an FBI watch list or wanted list. Who is this guy? What was he looking at as everybody else was looking in the other direction?
Yeah, I don't know, Greg. It seems interesting that he's standing around a lot. He's observing. Cut to the footage of him hitting a cop with a Blue Lives Matter flag. Let's do it.
How did he get himself right next to Ashley Babbitt when she was shot? And speaking of Ashley Babbitt, how about those cops who just walked away?
Oh, so that I see. So that's why he cares about this guy. He just found 2 shots of the guy standing around. And this is
moments before Ashley Babbitt was shot. They're not under any direct threat whatsoever. And watch, they walk away. And then all hell breaks loose. These guys start pounding on the doors like crazy. And a few moments later.
And are those Capitol Police?
Ashley Babbitt is shot. Why do those cops just walk away? I'd like to know that. Steve Bannon.
Because they believe that they're on Trump's side in this. And by the way, so there's a barricaded door. There are police officers on the other side of it. There are police officers allegedly on this side of it. They clear out of the way because a giant crowd is coming their way and it looks dangerous, or what have you, whatever their reasoning is. And now you feel like it's okay to do this.
Can't answer any of those questions. Steve Bannon.
Sorry. Run that by. Sorry, Greg. Run that by. Or so those cops are just supposed to die. And
I'd like to know that. Steve Bannon.
What makes it okay for that to happen? Greg, do you think this is how the Electoral College is going to be flipped? Is this how a new vote is going to be taken? Is that the purpose of this action? Fuck her and fuck them. This is meaningless. All you're saying is that this is justified on Trump's behalf because Greg Kelly wants to be the Baghdad Bob of Trumpistan.
And can't answer any of those questions. Steve Bannon will not be able to help, but they indicted him.
Why? How do you know he won't be able to help? How do you know that some of the communications he didn't have weren't with Trump-friendly Capitol Police, for example? Maybe that's one of the biggest concerns. Maybe those folks still work there. Perhaps that might be in the communications. If it isn't, showing them would certainly cover that. Right?
Interesting. You know, being in contempt of Congress is not a big deal. It's like getting detention at high school. It's just not that.
Is it? Oh, okay. So basically, Greg, being in contempt of Congress is just like detention in high school. So those kids were just, they were just rowdy kids on a weekend going a little crazy at the dance. The fuck?
Deal. Eric Holder, Obama's AG, he was held in contempt of Congress. They didn't indict him. All right. They
didn't have to. He ended up speaking.
This is all a bit much. We'll see how
they fought it in court. He didn't just not show. He answered it in court.
All plays out, but I want answers to those questions, and Steve Bannon won't be able to get them.
How do you know? By the way, subpoena Greg Kelly. Honestly, if Greg Kelly knows that Steve Bannon doesn't know the answers to those questions, then he knows who does. Or he knows why Steve Bannon wouldn't be aware of those details because he was aware of or in charge of other details. How can you assert such a thing? You can assert that somebody deserves their time in court. You can assert that they have the presumption of innocence, or they don't. You could say that it's an invasive subpoena, something like that. Throw those things up. But if you're saying they're not going to get the answers from Steve Bannon, he doesn't know the answers, how can you assert that other than the fact that you're talking out of your ass, which is more than likely the reality here, or Greg Kelly does know the answers to some of those because he talks to some of these idiots, or they feel like, oh, God, I have to... Here comes Kelly again. Fuck, man. Just tell him a side story so he pisses off. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's just garbage. All right. It's crazy. All right. So Judge Janine got name dropped in all this shit. And I want to deal with her. But let's jump over to Bongino. He's dumb. We know he's dumb. We know he's incapable of complex thought. We know his reading comprehension sucks. It might even be as bad that his vision is terrible. I wish that it were that, because it would be simply he could get some glasses and then suddenly figure out what an asshole he's been. I think it's a little more complicated than that, unfortunately. But mind-bogglingly dumb. And this video, since Bannon was dropping it's the CCP and regime and all those words. This stood out because Bongino's saying, I am telling you, keep your eye on China. There is something going on. And seriously, when is there not something going on? Like, keep your eye on Europe, guys. Like, think of any giant landmass with a bunch of people on it and then talk about it in terms, like those terms. I don't know, guys. Something's up in Poland. I'd look at that. Then if you go look at the Polish news, you're like, oh yeah, things are happening in Poland. Some of it good, some of it bad, clearly. And this is his aha, 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 wahaha. All right.
Keep your eye on China. What are they preparing for? I don't know.
Guys, something China thing. What they're doing, I don't know. But could be. Let's see how I want to see how deep he digs, if at all. And I don't know what he's reading right now, but he's definitely looking at a note or something right now. That is a definitive stare. That's not just looking off in the middle distance.
Invasion of Taiwan that's been speculated by many. I am not sure. I'm just telling you, China is a major geopolitical force, is a clear enemy.
Since when?
United States, they have nuclear weapons, and something is going on.
What? Oh my God. Something's been going on in China. Get out of town. No, you can't tell me that. China has nuclear weapons? Well, next thing you'll know, they were the place where a contagious disease started. What is happening? This can't be, when was this? November 12th, yeah. If this was November 12th, 2019, maybe you wouldn't sound like a moron.
China. Is it an additional crackdown in Hong Kong? Is it Taiwan? I don't know.
An additional crackdown. Yeah, that's the thing to watch for. More of a draconian complete stomping of democracy.
I don't know. But the fact that the Russians are amassing...
Well, at least there is one fact. All right. At least the Russians in what? Hold on. What?
I don't know. But the fact that the Russians are amassing to apparently invade Ukraine again, and this is going on in China, should scare you. Here are 4 stories concerning me right now about China. Number 1 from Reuters. Remember Evergrande? Well, they narrowly avoided a default again yesterday. We kind of jumped the gun on that. And Evergrande dodges default again. Property sector debt concerns linger. This is one of the biggest bills.
Yes, the big story that China is currently propping up under the table. Yeah, and this will have zero effect, by the way. This has been like I told you, everybody. I said 2 years ago, I was like, China's economy is going to hit the skids in 6 years. And COVID sucked 3 years out of the center out of that.
In China, they owe $300 billion. If they collapse, they're going to take the Chinese economy with it. It's happening right now.
No, they will cascade and take other companies with it. And China will be responsible for a massive shift back to focused communism. And they're not prepared to do it. They don't know how to do it. So it's gonna mean a lot of dead Chinese people. It's gonna be really fucked up. It'll be worse than 2008. But except the rest of the world is not invested in Evergrande the way everybody else was invested in our real estate market during 2008. The reason it cascaded across the world is because it was interlinked with others. China's been isolating themselves increasingly over the last 10 years. And because of that, they've basically like built a bomb and then spent the rest of the time building a shell over it.
Story 2. Daily Mail, longest headlines ever. Xi Jinping tightens his grip on power in China with a historic resolution. It puts him on par with Mao and makes a third term as president almost certain.
Yeah, this was the party gathering. It was happening this year. Next year, they had the election. He announced he was going to do this fucking 6 years ago. Why is this, guys, watch China. You know the shit we've been worrying about in China for the last 10 months / 5 years / 10 years? Yeah, it's all I don't know.
So as the Chinese property market collapses, the Chinese leader Xi Jinping puts out a resolution enabling him to stay in charge for a whole lot.
He didn't put out the resolution. That they agreed on it at the party, but they were already going to do it. This isn't the news part. The news will be next year if he actually secures it, because there are competing groups within China that are vying to get rid of him right now. That's the underlying story. The real story in China right now are the two groups that are vying to oust Xi Jinping, and he's basically at war with those groups currently, and that's a huge deal. This is like reading the cover of People magazine and thinking you know what love is.
Well, what is he planning on doing? Here's another one from The Sun. China sparks doomsday prepper frenzy amid fears of Taiwan war after calling on their residents to stockpile food.
Yeah, that's not the take at all. They have a huge winter approaching. They do not have fuel. They are having enormous blackouts. And they are saying that everybody should have staples available in their home rather than wait until the last minute. This has been going on for a while. It is a ginormous fucking country. If you even say that on television, which they have for the first time, you are going to spark a run on the groceries because there are so many goddamn people in the country. This is not about a war with Taiwan. That's not why they're asking people to store up on food. They're doing it because a bunch of people are not going to have fucking fuel oil.
These aren't conspiracy theories. These things happen.
No, dum-dum. Present a theory. And no, that is a theory. These stories, you're reading headlines. What theory? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Conspiracy theory means you know what's happening even though others don't, and you have derived this knowing from a myriad of details, and you have sewn them together into a comprehension. How have I been to China? Many times. I was in China for like a month at a time, 9 times in the years leading up to COVID. Yes. 我会说中文，说得很好。I speak Chinese and very well. So, yes, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. He has not.
Number 4, China's energy crisis deepens with potentially fatal consequences.
Right, dumb fuck. That's why the storage of food. Hence the fatal consequences. This is the reality of it. You love all the tea in China. I'm a big fan of oolong, and Taiwan has the best oolong tea. Sorry, Formosa oolong is the shit. I'm a tea snob, so yeah. I've never seen like Bongino revel in his own moronic nature.
Gentlemen, China doesn't have enough coal to keep the lights on. The winter's coming. People are going to...
Oh, they have plenty. It's just underwater.
Freeze to death in China? Does Xi know this? Does Xi know?
Yes, he knows this. That's why they told everybody to stockpile food, you dumb fuck. I'm a Chinese spy. Why would I be a Chinese spy? The Chinese might have thought I was a spy if I stayed there longer. Stop. The Chinese can take care of themselves. I trust they'll make it. No, that's the problem. Their leadership is not worried about the average Chinese person, and a lot of them are going to die. They don't care. Yes, I don't know. Listen to me, people. I don't know what this is. I don't know. But it's something, but I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
He's looking at a historic collapse in China and civil unrest. Is he about to do?
Right, which is why they're telling people to stockpile food, you dipshit, so the people won't be hungry and pissed that the lights are out. This is social manipulation. Not that Bongino gives a shit or even can comprehend it.
Thing. Keep your eye on it. I'm not going to stop talking about that topic.
What? Yeah, you're not going to stop talking about China? Really? Why is it that I have to go to Bongino, the only person who brings up, what is it? I can't even remember the name of that country anymore. It's somewhere between North Korea and Vietnam, right? That big swath of land. Doesn't it? Who are those people? They buttress up against Russia. I think 95% of the country lives in the eastern half of the country. I don't know. What's the name of that country again? Chinna?
Okay. It's time for questions with Dan. Thank you to everyone who submits them. You can submit them.
What? Wait a minute. This is a 3-minute clip. We're 2 minutes in. It's called I'm Telling You, Keep Your Eye on China. There is something going on. And he bails on it after 2 minutes. These 4 headlines are 4 headlines. I read one of them was very long. And I don't know what it is going on. What the fuck? Please have someone call in and ask him a question about China. And he goes, I don't know.
Free Thursday. Go to rumble.com/Bongino. Just comment the question on the video.
Yeah, you used to be able to go to Cumulus or something, but he's not. Yeah, can't do that anymore.
Or go to my locals account, and I post a post on Thursday. It says questions. Question number 1.
Hey, Dan. How is it possible you know less about something the more you read about it? It's fucking amazing.
When you were an agent in the Secret Service, how did the presidents treat the members of the military that served on the White House grounds? CGO status, man. Great.
Well, no one gave a handy like Trump. Everybody else was mean, spit on us. Hillary Clinton acted like the president, even when she didn't. And Donald Trump was always good for a reach around.
Again, I never lie to you for effect on the show.
Oh, no. When you said you don't know, we believed you.
I'm not a journalist that does that. All of them. I worked with
You're not a journalist. You're not a journalist at all, fucko.
Clinton, President Obama, and President Bush. I know President Trump loves the military, even though I wasn't an agent with him. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, he loves him. He loves him so much. He stole valor from the previous administration about the VA Choice Act and bullshitted him at every turn.
But no, they always treated him well. It was never, I never detected that at all. They were always very personally nice to me and others. I can't point to a moment, Hillary's a different story, but where Bill.
Oh, yeah? Well, tell us the fucking story, asshole.
Didn't George W. Bush or Obama was ever rude to them. So, no, they were never rude. They always treated them nicely. You just heard
that. What the fuck? That's it? So that's keep your eye on China clip. That's the keep your eye on China clip? What the hell? Dan, I applause. I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm amazed. At what point, have I ever thought, well, gee willikers, I never thought this guy could get dumber and waste our time more. And yet, here he is, like, Bongino, for the F, Just a massive fail. Never has a man said so little with so many of the same words. Yeah, that's the clip. So stuff, I can't imagine why he lost his fucking radio show. That was magic. Is there anything to that? I feel like I need a refund. What the fuck? All right. Clearly, Judge Jeanine can teach us a little something. Now, you know, and I know that you know that I know, that we all, I always wonder what I'm thinking. Don't you ever wonder, like, gee, what does my side of the aisle really think? I thought I knew. I was fairly certain that I knew what was going on. Hold on, does this zip back? I could have swore I knew what I thought about my own life and philosophy and politics and what bills and concepts and policies, especially long-standing policies that I believed in. I thought I did, but sometimes I just don't know. I have what I would call a Bongino moment, where I just don't know. And so it's always good to have someone come in who doesn't know what you think to tell you what you think, because maybe they have a perspective on what you think that goes beyond thinking. Like Judge Jeanine, I paid for those rooms at the Willard Hotel that Steve Bannon charged a really expensive movie that was more expensive than the other movies, even the blockbusters, but read nothing into that because they don't put the names of the movies on the bill. But I did it for America, Piro. Her, by the way, this is her opening statement, which is something lawyers do. But she's the judge. So the judge's opening statement is as follows.
Fake it till you make it. That's the new motto of the left wing of America. Because in 2021, if you dare to disagree with liberals and dare to speak out against the rise of lawlessness in America, beware. We saw it this week with the...
Sir, and I don't know what the relation those first three sentences were to the next few sentences. And I think my understanding of what might be the relation is about to get worse.
Rush to judgment prosecution of Kyle Rittenhouse, the young man from Kenosha, Wisconsin, brazenly mistreated by the mainstream media, the vindictive left, and even the president of the United States, who lied.
Oh, there she is. There she is. She's using the Sean Hannity freeze frame again, saying this white supremacists, and then they say, as we saw in Kenosha, not recognizing that they fomented the violence that continued, that we saw in Kenosha, and then they freeze frame on this like he did a still when this is a video. This is the same graphic that Sean Hannity used. So stop. The upside is Fox has started recycling. I suppose that's, you got to take your small wins.
Said that he was a white supremacist, a domestic terrorist.
No, they didn't. I mean, not Biden anyways. Other people have said all kinds of things.
He was part of a militia. This now 18-year-old.
Well, no, he wanted to join a group of guys who were part of a militia. That's the argument.
Was downright harassed and abused by a hostile prosecutor, a prosecutor who called into question.
Judge, can I call you Judge? Is there ever a point where a prosecutor is prosecuting a case where someone has died, where you're shocked by the lack of emotion? Like, they couldn't give a shit. I mean, they want the guy convicted, but only because of the notch in their belt.
The defendant's innocence in front of the jury simply because he exercised his constitutional right to remain silent before trial?
Yeah, he got called out for that. That creates a situation where there could be a mistrial. That's why you don't do it. That's a fuck up on his part. There was a whole argument about this.
It's August 25th, 2020. This is the first time that you have told your story. Since August 25th, 2020, you've had the benefit of watching countless videos of your actions that night. You have also had the opportunity to listen.
Yeah, and again, this is just a standard legal bullshit. This guy is trying to drop this into the brain of the jury so that because he can't unring the bell. That's what's happening. And the judge calls him on it, and if he does it again, it'd be a mistrial. This shit happens all the time.
To the testimony of all 30-some witnesses that have testified.
Yes, you have to understand it's hostile, but it's subtly hostile. It's sneaky hostile. It's the kind of hostile that, sneaks up behind you and tugs at your tie and unzips your fly and says, "Is that my money on the dresser?" That kind of hostile.
In this trial so far. After all of that, now you are telling us your side of the story. Making the point that after hearing everything in the case, now he's tailoring his story to what has already been introduced.
The problem is, this is a grave constitutional violation for you to talk about the defendant's silence. That is, and you're right on the borderline.
So what really was the motivation of the prosecutor in this case? Why was the district attorney?
Well, I think get a conviction with a less than stellar legal base in a highly publicized case. That would be my guess as a prosecutor.
So quick to indict 17-year-old Rittenhouse with.
He's not quick to indict. It's been weeks.
48 hours of a complicated case where 3 individuals were shot at night in the middle of a riot as hundreds of witnesses and hours of video needed to be reviewed. How was he so sure it was intentional murder versus second degree versus reckless or even self-defense? How is it that this young man
or even self-defense? By the way, put aside the moment all your conceptions about the Rittenhouse trial. Put aside all the back and forth about this. And don't get caught up in the fact that she is trying to weaponize something strictly because she believes it helps her side show that there's a difference between her side and the other side. Namely, you guys. She couldn't give a rat's ass about this kid or this circumstance or anybody who was shot or the city of Kenosha. None. Like, she didn't care at all. And if you get too caught up into, but he should have, and they would have, and you go back and forth on that stuff, or you watch the clip that she edited together, the judge, you get triggered by that, which is also the other goal. You're going to miss the entire point of this, which is her bullshitting about how she's going to dovetail this into the Biden administration, is faking it till they make it when it comes to the infrastructure bill. Like, you have to be able to look past. Hold on, I have to block a spammer. You have to, especially when you're watching the news, tune yourself, if you can, to what you're actually being sold.
Who immediately tried to turn himself in, was portrayed as a murderer who crossed state lines to kill, when he crossed that state line almost every day to work and visit his father and friends. The motivation? The crowd needed a villain. It was a give us a Barabbas moment. The mob wanted.
I'm sorry, if you give us a Barabbas, you better buy me a drink first.
And the DA was more than willing to appease them, giving them a 17-year-old without a real investigation. Wait
a minute. Are we talking about Matt Gaetz now, or I'm confused? Giving who a 17-year-old without investigation? Are we talking about Florida law or Georgia law? I always get confused when they cross state lines with a girl who's on drugs at the time, who's underage, and obviously, you would come to her defense as well if she spoke out about. I mean, obviously, Kyle Rittenhouse, his mom drove him, so his mother, so obviously that's. You feel like that's okay, a relative driving someone across state lines. How do you feel about a one-term congressman who's about to be up on sexual assault charges? How do you feel about them transporting a 17-year-old across state lines? I'm just...
mistake. Liberals are emboldened, and they're fake it till they make it.
Look at the fake it till you make it, which is actually pretty good advice most of the time. You know what I mean? Soldier on as if you're already there. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. By God, I from day one treated this show like the quality show I knew it would one day be. Even if some days it was hard to even get the show on the air. Now I'm having flashbacks.
Strategy has kicked into high gear. For anyone on the wrong side of the political aisle, you could quickly find yourself on the Democrats' enemy list. Remember.
Yes. Yes. See what I mean? Guys, that's what I mean. When I'm talking about this whole, like, the Rittenhouse thing, because it's definitely incendiary. They have the same emotional feelings in a positive sense about this. How dare they? But the whole thing is her slipping you a Mickey, news-wise. So people feeling like Rittenhouse killed somebody and meant to and all this stuff, that you now must take that emotion and apply it to infrastructure or some shit.
Fake Trump dossier? The source of that phony attempt to smear the 45th president of the United States has been charged with lying to the FBI. But for...
Yeah, but about where he got his information from, not about the substance of the actual information. Yeah.
Years, the intelligence community, backed by their allies in the mainstream media, they claimed the dossier was authentic.
Maybe dirt.
Hold on, yeah.
But it ain't fake.
Is there anything in the dossier that has been disproven?
No, I guess the short answer to the question.
We've always known it was fake, but leave it to the left to lie.
We always knew it was fake. We don't. Now, here's the trick. Talk about the delivery system for the information and say that because, fruit of the poison tree, this person didn't say who they were talking to, then what they actually talked about can't be true. And then show clips of people talking about the information in it because no one has disproved it, and saying the information therefore is false on the same level that the indictment from Durham, who is a Trump appointee going after someone, is, when, by the way, that most of those indictments will be thrown out on their face. They just, period.
Yeah. Divide and try to turn us against each other.
Let's see the Trump PP tape. Let's not.
They don't care as long as they make it. Another fake narrative being sold to Americans is that people actually support the reckless Biden agenda and spending spree. That's about as fake news as it gets. Oh.
And she would know.
By the way, according to Stumbling Joe, if you don't agree with this fake agenda, you are just simply too stupid to appreciate the wisdom of his epic leadership.
You hear a lot about the supply chains in the news, but frankly, not a lot of people have a clear understanding, whether they have a PhD or they didn't go to school, about how a supply chain works.
Sorry, Mr. President.
Yeah, but, oh, hi. Okay, love you. Have fun. Yeah. My girl's going to the gym. It's what we do. This is the same thing Hannity did. She's just repackaging this bullshit.
The reality is that only 37.8% actually approve of the job that you're doing.
Hi, dum-dum. Explain the supply chain to me. If you're going to answer what he said, if you're going to present what he's saying, then answer what he's saying. All you're making the argument is that the media portrayal of that reality is not in line with the actual reality. And therefore, it is drifting job approval ratings that way, because people like you have asserted that, for example, there was an easy way to get out of Afghanistan. There was a magical plan. Trump had a magic plan, and if we'd only followed the magic plan, which he could have followed any of the years he was in office, and he never fucking did. But if they'd have followed it, everything would have been fine. We would have left with dignity and not a screw, not a nail, not a fort left behind. Right? We could have had that. That would have been a perfect plan. So compared to the perfect plan, anything that happens is bad. Yeah, I get that. That's true. At least she does know Biden is president. I suppose that's right. So that's in many ways why people have a 38% approval rating right now. Is because they've been bullshitted by the media that we were in Afghanistan for 20 years, not because getting out was too ugly for most of the people who were involved, and it would take someone like Biden to come along and go, no, we're getting out. That's that. And stand up to that, that challenge. And Trump, again, could have done it at any moment. Does anybody, any Trumpers, any maggots out there have a single reason why Trump could have gotten us out of Afghanistan any of the years he was in office? Day 2, January 21st, 2017. Anybody? Thanks, Benny Loco. Much love. Anybody? Nope. So if it was so easy and there was a magic plan and it would have happened and it was always going to be, then why didn't Trump do it? Because he's a fuck up and a coward and he couldn't? That's one obvious reason. The other one is he didn't care or want to. That it was all just bullshit. I like the third option, A and B.
It's not surprising considering that under the Joe Biden administration,
under the year over year price increases, year over year. Did they go down last year from 2019? Yeah, especially fuel by a lot. Beef prices are up 20%. Who sold all of our beef to China last year? Biggest order of beef ever sent to China? While Americans were in food lines? Who did that?
consumer prices surged over 6% in October alone. And as temperatures start dropping from...
No. Hold a second. You fucking what now?
6% in October alone. Consumer prices surged over 6% in October alone. And
no, they fucking well did not. And you'd have to be, yeah, it's year over year, 6%. Do you have any idea how genuinely fucked everything would be if it rose 6.2% in a month, you dipshit? Yeah, it's a year over year graphic, and she's too stupid to run it. And she's, by the way, she's castigating Biden for calling out that it's difficult to understand supply chains. And this moron, listen to this shit one more time.
That's not surprising, considering that under the Joe Biden administration, consumer
here it comes.
Prices surged over 6% in October alone. And
consumer prices surged over 6% in October alone. I mean, that is Lehman Brothers numbers in a day. If that, like, I mean, obviously she's too stupid to read her own graphics. But for fuck's sake. Do you think think she'll correct it? They'll go to break and she'll come back and she'll like have wine teeth and go, I'm sorry.
As temperatures start dropping from coast to coast, we are learning that year over year, propane prices are...
Year over year. Year over year. Let's see. Heating, oil, prices. Sorry, 1 second. Let's see if we have a year to year, something like that. Let's see. So heating oil prices. 2019. Let's see. Oh. Gee, it's almost as if here's your fucking heating oil price. Look at this shit right here. Here's today. Heating oil residual, $3.03 a gallon. Last year, $2.13. January of last year, $3. That's why they're saying year over year to October. Because it is up. There you go. It's actually down from 2018 right now. Yeah, it's down 5 cents from 2018 right now. Can I, for fuck's sake, why do I have to know more about heating oil than somebody who guests on Fox Business? Seriously, these ratty assholes can't figure this shit out? God damn it. The reason they keep saying year over year, keep listening to this, it drives me fucking crazy. Are they up? Yeah. They're up from last year because we subsidized the shit out of it because everybody was broke. So it drove the price down. But then look over here. $3.35 a gallon in October 2018, year over year 2 years ago. A year into the Trump administration, 2 years into the Trump administration. Look, here's, tell you what, here's March of 2016 when Obama was still president, it was $2.12 a gallon. Trump years, all of it going up. Trump years, mild dip, crash, and then it all comes back. Here it is in, by the way, in 2014 though, woof, $4.18. There you go. Here's $3.87 a gallon. Year over year. Dear God, heating oil. Shall we look up propane? Should we do that? Or yeah, petroleum and other liquids. Let's see. This is the U.S. Energy Information Administration. Here's gas prices across the coast. West Coast is always expensive. Let's see. These are all up $1 from a year ago. U.S. in general is up $1.20 from $1.30 from a year ago. In general, East Coast is up $1.22. California is the one that weights it because we have more land and a lot more drivers, so the price gets higher. Let's see. Crude oil, fossil fuel resource map, U.S. petroleum infrastructure. Hey, look, we can see all the. Look at this. Show us all the pipelines we're not allowed to see. Energy disruption, state energy policy, major oil and gas plays. What's this shit? Okay, now this. Where's I can't scroll over at the same time. You have to go back here. Crude tracking, STAO, trends in energy video, the radio spot. U.S. fossil fuel resource map. Energy mapping system. Energy disruptions, flood vulnerability, state energy profiles, Gulf of Mexico fact sheet, major oil and gas plays. There you go. Oil and gas, state energy profiles, Gulf of Mexico. There you go. So much interesting information. But let me look at this real quick, if I might. What is it? Yeah, propane. October 2019. Let's see. There you go. Weekly propane. Hey, look at that. Here's propane. Here it is in 2020. Oh my gosh, it was $1.86. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So, this is 2018, 2019. This is February 11th. right around there. That's weird. There's March of last year, and then it ate shit for a second, and then came right back because there are these gaps because nobody buys them during the summer. They just gap out the summer. So rip, and then it goes to here, and then the price goes to here, and so it was $2.29. Last year at the peak, it was $2.49. Now it's $2.73 a gallon. $2.59 when it entered, $2.29.5. There we go. Meanwhile, worst of it was 2014, where it was $4 a gallon. We obviously fixed that. Look at that. Boink. Look, here's some action by the government and energy producers. Boink. That happened fairly quickly. So yeah, so see this number? Humming right along about this number. The top part of it starts to creep up as people need it closer because it's more of an emotional buy. So people go, oh yeah, we should get some. We should get some. We should really get some. We need a lot, right? So that's how the price arcs. They know you're coming. It's kind of like the price of gas right before summer vacation. So here it is. This is $2.73, and then March it was. Here's February. It was $2.49, $2.50 to $2.73. So it's gone up that much. And this is 54%. Dear God. Natural gas. Well, let's see. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Natural gas has got to be a huge leap from 2019, right? Oh, that's weird. In 2019, dry natural gas production increased by 10%, reaching a record high average of 93 billion. U.S. natural gas consumption raised by 3%. That's weird. So they were selling a lot of it. And natural gas exports, see, price. I want the natural gas price, obviously. Here you go. Yeah. So 2019, 256, 2017, okay, 315 in 2018. So let's see what it is today. Come on, well, my goodness. My goodness, Janine. Look at this. $5.62, and it's going down. Why is it going down? That doesn't help. Look at that. $4.38, $5.08 currently. What's this back here? Oh my goodness. $16? 16? What's this business? What's the top of this guy right here? Get up. $16.33. This clearly, this doesn't. Yeah, blame socialism, CRT, and Antifa for. Mostly Antifa. Obviously, they all run on natural gas. There's all those hippies and their biodiesel, French fry Mercedes they got from their grandparents and retooled. Hey, look, why year over year? Why would you choose year over year? Here's October 2020. To October 2020 was all the way down here, $1.76. So that's, I mean, man, what a great way to pump that shit up. Now, granted, the price of it is a quarter of what it was in 2005, a quarter of what, quarter of what it was in 2008 before it ate shit. And then what's this right here? Yeah. $2 less than it was in 2010, and it's been arcing down ever since because of more production and availability. This is when it all started. Everybody was in, then they got out, and then this is just the generalized cost, and it peaks around this. This is pretty normal. It's staying below the initial peak at 2014, which is normal volume production. This is before you start exporting. But please tell us how this is Biden's fault, dum-dum. And by the way, she's getting it the same source I am, U.S. Energy Information Administration. So it's not like she and her staff haven't seen this shit.
54%. Heating oil is up 43%. Natural.
What is it over 2019 when we weren't in fucking COVID?
Is up 30%, and electricity is up 6%. And with less than 2 weeks to go until Thanksgiving, food prices are skyrocketing.
Oh, dear. Wait a minute. Why'd you only put that up for a second? Turkey is up 6% year over year. You mean when nobody was buying turkey because none of us got to go home for Thanksgiving? You moron. Hold on. Turkey prices. Look, we can do this for propane and natural gas, but surely, let's see, 2019. So this is the trick nobody seems to be doing. There you go. Statista. Okay, allow all. There we go. Let's see. 2019 and wow. Dude, give me a chart at least. Something graphic. Popular Thanksgiving mealtime, Thanksgiving holiday travel, average cost of turkey dinner. Here you go. Average cost of the turkey dinner, $19.99. Oh, shit. They're cheating me out of this. Okay. Price of U.S. turkey dinner doubled in. Oh, and what? Well, my goodness. Nearly doubled. I'm confused, Quartz. The price of U.S. turkeys has almost doubled in 2 years. Well, what the fuck happened in when? I'm sorry. When was this? When did you put this? Okay, this is October. Here you go. U.S. price of turkeys. Oh dear God! Look how big this chart is. It's a horrifying notion. Look at this. Well, my goodness. It absolutely cratered right here. And then it went up a little. And then it ate shit for Thanksgiving. 2019, 2020, this beginning of this January. Started to go like up. Yeah, and then. Right. So basically we reset to here from 2017. What was this huge gap? Do we have a glut of turkeys? Was this the Palin years? This is the Palin turkey murder, right? Nobody wanted turkey because they saw her killing him. Hold on. Let's see. How much they're going to do tomorrow? Turkey may be more inflation proof. Oh. Well, that doesn't help. We're trying to help, Janine. Turkey may be more inflation proof than the rest of your Thanksgiving meal. Oh, dear. Economists, farmers, and meat processing executives have been warning for months about higher turkey prices for Thanksgiving. Credible's financial analyst Daniel Ricciardo, for example, estimates turkey prices to be up 8% to 9%. 8% to 9%. They're up 6%. You've overshot, my friend. I think you've lost money for your turkey hedge fund. Overall, the price of turkeys ranging from 8 to 16 pounds climbed 25% from last year. Oh, last year. I see. Jumping 81. Oh, back here. Jumping 81 cents in 2019 to $1.36 a pound in September. Recent Wells Fargo analysis of the Department of Agriculture data. Well, this is fun. Here you go. Seasonal turkey prices. 2020, 2021, 2020, 2021. Oh, look at that. 2020, 2019's the little gray line. Well, here's 2019. It's carving its way up, getting up in here, almost like a crisscross over right around November, peak number before it tails off into Christmas. It almost looks to me, if, you're a thinking person, that all those turkeys that people weren't going to buy because they weren't in, they didn't get to go anywhere. The next year they had them, they just like kind of flatlined, a little hump, and then they went down a little steeper. And then the little glide path up here. This is 2021. So like these, nobody bought them here. Basically went back to the old numbers or flatlined the whole year for 2020. And then next year they started to gradually go up because for 2020 because people are like, we need to sell them probably as cut turkey and that kind of stuff. Are these frozen ones? Hold on, we should make sure. Many plans are to give the cost of a whole bird turkey in 2021 is going to be higher than in prior years, much higher. Here it is. Look at that. Cents per pound. There you go. They were average 8 to 16 pounds, weighted average monthly. Kind of a big difference between the big ones and the little ones, but okay. Turkey price in 2021 is starkly higher compared to prior years. Last summer, turkey prices this year running nearly 25% more than the prior year and nearly 50% higher than the prior 5-year average. What? 50% higher than last. In other words, a whole turkey for this holiday season is going to cost you nearly double what it did just a couple of years ago. Yet it wasn't always like this. The graph shows turkey prices were pretty high in 2015 and decent for turkey producers in 2014, but rapid price in 2021 from the lows. Oh, Wait a minute. Wait a moment. I'm sorry. What did my wondering eyes, what to my wondering eyes should appear? Reasoning in the very last sentence. What is this? It rise in 2021 from the lows of 2019 is remarkable. Since the lows of 2019, so that it was on the rise anyways. Nobody was addressing the cost of turkey's been going up. But then last year, if you use the percentage, and this might be why, that a stammering box wine piece of shit like Judge Jeanine Pirro, who pays for insurrectionist hotel rooms, might want to use the year-over-year change. That it might, the year-over-year part. By the way, congratulations to everyone that that cakes and spices are actually more recession-proof than everything else. If you excise 2020 out of the equation, which you would do in any normal modification of this, the inflation is nominal and normal. Now, I know right-wingers, maggots, Trumpistan, Confederates, all would like the idea that all of our food should be handed to us free from the state. But some of us believe in free markets. And for this record, let's see, price. This is just going to be fun now. Price of eggs 2019. Well, let's see. That's price adjusted retail price of eggs 19. That's Statista, you bastards. Eggs markets excellent supply, Georgia. I'll just look at pictures, images. Retail price of eggs, excellent supply, lower retail. Egg pricing. There we go. There's so many charts. It's hard to decide. What could it be? Let's see. 2019 to 2020. This is sexy. The U.S. laying rate. There's a lot of eggs getting laid around here. We seem to be doing all right in the volume department. Obviously, supply would be a consideration. Let's see. Broiler slaughter related images. Where are we? Let's go back down to here. All price of eggs 2019. Here we go. Year. Let's look at this. Adjusted for inflation. This is U.S. inflation calendar here in 1980. Then 2000. Let's go down here. Look at that. Hey. Anybody see that teeny little number right over there? See that? That's eggs prices from 2018. That's eggs. Now it's up from 2017. See, in 2015, it hit a peak under Obama, went down the next year, went down again in 2017. Ooh, shit. Went back up. Went down a little bit in 2019. And then 2020 is 151. Let's see what's the average one for this year. Let's see. 2021. $1.82. Where's the, is it down here in the bottom? The average annual price for eggs in 1980 was $2.79 a gallon. By gallons. Using actual numbers, 202, 1980 egg index. Average price was $1.82 in October 2021. In 2018, it was $1.74. We are up from last year, but up more from 2019, but up less from 2018, and down from 2015 and 2014. Yeah. Other than that, they've been kind of a normal climb. Couple of spikes. Yeah. So again, year over year, bunch of bullshit. I'm just saying.
To go until Thanksgiving, food prices are skyrocketing. But that's not stopping Washington from...
Yeah. Statistically, percentage-wise. Gee, if you forget that we just went through a pandemic that was ignored by the former guy, you'd almost think there was no reason for it, but it must have been the rescue package. That's what it was.
Your hard-earned money. Last week, they pushed through a $1.2 trillion so-called infrastructure bill with 30...
Well, no, we do. It is an infrastructure bill. The so-called part, the so-called infrastructure bill, you mean, is the Build Back Better plan. You guys don't think that's infrastructure. The other one is the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Everybody knows that's infrastructure.
13 Republicans willing to sell their souls and their party down the river. Take a look on your screen.
Well, they don't have to sell them down the river because now the bridges aren't going to collapse and they'll be able to drive right over the river without dying. Go fucking figure. All right.
The Democrats who fake it till they make it can't always do it alone.
Well, they did make it, actually. They did make it. Trump was faking it and never made it. I guess that's the difference. Is that the difference you're making? Because he called it Infrastructure Week and yet never passed anything?
Times even so-called Republicans catapult them to the top. These are the Republicans who supported a $1 trillion piece of legislation that not even AOC herself could support. They could have...
So, Judge, let's just revel in the moment that Judge Janine thinks she's on the side of AOC right now. Just let it sit. Don't argue. Don't argue with the thought. Just let her stew in her own juice for a second. This is too good to let pass up. But she's just locking arms just for a moment. Bipartisanship is possible.
Stopped it and started from scratch. They don't deserve to be reelected next term. And sadly, the spending spree is only beginning. Up next, a $1.75 trillion climate bill that's likely to be voted on this week. And according to the former head of the DNC, Ed Rendell, wasting trillions of tax dollars at a rapid pace makes stumbling Joe Biden a modern-day FDR.
I will tell you that when the New Year strikes, when we go to 2020, 2022, we will have a president who has achieved more in his first year in office than anyone, certainly in my lifetime. You'd have to go back to FDR to find someone who has achieved anything greater.
Yeah, actually. And notice how Trump's whole, we did more in our first few months than anybody in history. You notice how that doesn't even float anymore? He didn't even bother that. He tries to kind of lump everything together and go, we did more than anybody. But, it used to be right out in our first year, and none of it was true. He claimed he signed the VA choice bill, which was signed in 2014 by Obama in his first year. It's just horseshit. He thought that everything he signed that was just regular legislative work, everybody told him it was a lightning strike so that they could get him to just do his perfunctory job. Because as president, you have a lot of shit you have to sign that's passed or that comes up because you're the chief administrator of the entire country. So you have a lot of that stuff. And the only way they could get Trump to do his job is if they went, this is on the equivalent of the moon landing. Really? The Forestry Service? Appropriations? Yeah, absolutely. So we're planting trees on the moon. Cool. Only me ever. Only me ever.
Joe Biden to FDR is not only fake news, it's downright laughable. Now, speaking of laughter, that seems...
Well, by what measure? Because again, if all of a sudden Jeanine Pirro finds herself on the side of AOC and FDR, I don't know how she claws her way back. I mean, she's literally going to have an Ayn Rand enema to even be allowed back in CPAC if she keeps this up.
Be the administration's go-to strategy whenever they're faced with tough issues.
What is the Granholm plan to increase oil production in America?
Oh my God, that is hilarious. Would that I had the magic wand on this.
Do you plan to visit the border?
Not today, but I have before, and I'm sure I will again.
You know, there's nothing funny about the...
No, it's not funny. I mean, it's funny that Trump's not president. That's really funny. And that he sent an envoy to Kosovo. Like, that's funny. It is, actually, it's funny. Like, the fact that they're laughing and enjoying themselves is terror. I mean, can you imagine joy and function in the United States of America? What would upset Russian sock puppets more? I can't imagine.
Crisis, or the supply chain crisis, or the border crisis, or any of the real crises impacting families across the nation. But stick to your fake it till you make it strategy, liberals, and we'll see who's laughing on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022.
And we'll see who's laughing, is what she said. We'll see who's laughing, is what it sounded like she said.
When Americans head to the polls to put an end to the fake it till you make it strategy. And that's my open. Let me know what you think on my Facebook. And
I think your highly photoshopped old picture that they keep using looks very strange and makes your neck look like a pyramid. That's what I think. Yeah, it's a crisis. It's always a crisis. And the worst thing is when they solve these things, it's a frigging nightmare. But, you know. Yeah.
So we're going to get it going to a level that nobody can ever turn course on us. Nobody can ever change.
Yeah, that's Trump on Infrastructure Week a long time ago. Good times. Lethal political combination, supply chain, inflation, haunt White House. Yeah, whatever. It's garbage. All right. This is, we did that. This is the thing. And then, yep, we're good. So we got through everything today, pretty much. I mean, there's so much stuff. Christ, how long is this thing? It's probably 2 hours. Christ almighty. And it only got 260. Flashpoint. That's Lanny Walnuts for those
down America. Yes, America shall be saved, but at what price? How much of America will be left? Donald Trump says it. He says the problem is he wants to run. He's kind of given his hints. He wants to do his job.
Hang on for a second. I would like to say, as one of the people who brought in the whole hoodie meets suit jacket look in 2004, that you cannot bring it back and old man it in front of everybody else in a... What the fuck?
But how much will be left of America by the time this is like 10 months.
Right.
And by the way, I made a comment earlier and I kind of caught my spirit because I mentioned the Democrats. So let me be an equal opportunity offender. It took 13 goofy senators who were Republican. Right. No, congressmen that were Republican. 19 nutty senators to package together virtually $5 trillion of debt we cannot sustain to fund.
What the fuck are you talking about, Lanny? $5 trillion? The whole combined thing was supposed to be that. This is just the bipartisan infrastructure bill. It's 1.2. Do the fucking math. Now, does he know the infrastructure bank is in there? Does he know that $50 billion of seed money goes into an infrastructure bank that allows loans to be taken at a very low interest rate for these projects so that cities and counties and states can borrow money at an extraordinarily low rate instead of going to private institutions or investors, which have a much higher expectation of return on it? Sure. Does the Fed still make money on those loans when the cities pay them back through bond issuances and that kind of stuff? Yes. Is it greater ultimately down the line than the $1.2 trillion even that's in the entirety of the bill? Of course. The $50 billion in seed money will probably work its way out somewhere in the order of $8 to $10 trillion in infrastructure spending that's taken care of and has a way to be financed for the next 2 decades. But yeah, Lanny's just got his. We're gonna find out at the end of this that Lanny was the pipe bomber. This was his outfit. If he walks away with one arm swinging like this, I'm calling the cops.
Activists who will use it against this movement. Right. So I'm not particularly having a love affair with either party, but I believe, and that reminds me of something Kim Clement prophesied. And he said, the Lord, when he raised up Donald Trump, he says, I am dissatisfied with.
The Lord, when he raised up Donald Trump, he said, what?
Parties, in his characteristic South African way. I am dissatisfied, the Lord says, with both parties. And what I'm going to do will be an irritant to the...
Holy shit. I think we've discovered the problem. Apparently these assholes think God is a white South African. We've found the problem. Put a pin in it, kids. These guys, I get it now. I get it in a way that I have never gotten it before. Like, this explains all of it. Yeah, God has an accent and he's a white South African. This makes total sense. Theirs is the God of apartheid. Yipes. All right, we'll do more of this in an upcoming show. I'll let you guys go because I kept you long anyways. It's Monday night and I already went a half hour over. I adore you guys. Thank you for sticking around. I also want to, if I may, extend a word, and again to Michael, we love you. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we're sorry for your family. Our chat room's lost a couple of people over the last year, and we deal with this all the time. And because we are as big and expanding a community as we are, it's going to happen. And I'm so proud of everybody in the chat room regularly and how you guys handle it and how supportive and loving you are in those situations, both spreading the word both to me and to each other and letting the person know that you care. It's just fantastic. And then on top of that, I also want to thank the trolls that have joined us who every time they write something down, every time they type something, it lets the algorithm know that this is an engaging show that advertisers should invest in. So thank you for raising my CPM rate, guys, over the last 8 months especially. The trolls have done it. The trolls are the ones who have raised our CPM on all the videos, the post videos, the shorter clips, which you can share if you would like. That helps us out a lot. And of course, the long form show itself, which is heavy lifting for a lot of people, and yet you stick around. And I'm incredibly honored that you spend your time with me. So thank you, trolls. We know it's a little bit of a waste of your time. It really is. But it's not a waste of ours, because you come here and you type stuff, and it helps us with the algorithm. You share us just by being mad. It's an amazing. It's like free work that we get. You're like a free PR person for the show. It's remarkable. I'm very impressed, and genuinely thanks. Yes, trolls followed me to you. Yeah, that's what happens. So and I recognize that it's very demoralizing for them because our chat is immune to it. We're immune to any of that shit because we just let it slide. It rolls right off our back. We're gonna raid Richard's show, Richard Ojeda, in a moment. Send him our love from the show, everybody who's over on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, please subscribe. Price of a cup of coffee, or if you have Amazon Prime, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps the show out, and it's fantastic. And you can also gift subscriptions if you want to. If you've already subscribed, you can let other people who are just followers have subscriptions who are in the chat, and it's a great thing, and it's a great way to help. Thank you guys for the super chats today. Bless you for all the Venmos as well. We got 3 of those today. That was really lovely. There is no big corporation between me and Venmo in that regard, and I know Venmo's gotten a dirty word, become a dirty word because of Florida Congress people, but in general, it's very helpful. Chip is upstairs. I will bring him in on the regular show on Wednesday. Much love, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay. And then we're going to try and do this raid right now. Hold on. Is it working? Okay. There we go. Raid now. Yay. Okay. Cheers, guys. See you later.